And from the border of liberty and prosperity and the highway to the north, this is Safety Wars for Monday, November 27th, 2023. We're almost at the end of the year here. My oh my, has this year flown by? Let's see if we can adjust that camera a little bit. Nah, we hung up some pictures up above. Doing a little bit of remodeling here, you know. This is what happens. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody got over their Thanksgiving L-tryptophan buzz from all that turkey that we ate. I think that's the name of it, L-tryptophan, right? That's the chemical there. We had a very solemn Thanksgiving here in the Posel family because of recent events. And that's it. But we're moving on along. Wanted to give a big shout out to everybody out there doing their job today in safety. It's not always easy coming back from a long 4 or 5 day weekend, depending on your workplace, your job site. With us, we worked on Friday, we worked on Saturday, we worked on Sunday. Just the way we do it here. That's the way we roll. But it's not always going to be this way, as I keep telling people. This is only temporary. All of this is only temporary. So, what's going on out there in the world? We're going to go into our usual OSHA and DOL press releases. And there's a lot going on the biological safety front out there with what's going on in China. And we even have one little kitten here that that was spreading rabies, right? Ay. Incredible. All right, this is from the Department of Labor. U.S. Department of Labor recovers more than $1.2 million for 142 workers on a Paps Farm housing construction project in, Wisconsin has great names of towns. Construction project in Oconomowoc. I tried that out. Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. The U.S. Department of Labor investigation has found 21 construction companies working on a federally assisted construction project violated federal laws, leading to the recovery of more than $1.2 million in prevailing and overtime wages for 142 construction workers who built a 302-unit housing development in Oconomowoc. Incredible. I mean, they list all of the companies here, or at least a number of the companies, and I tell you what, you cannot mess around on these federal jobs, especially when you have a payroll, right? When you have a payroll on these things, you really cannot mess around with them. With a certified payroll and its prevailing wage and everything else, I mean, I've been on a couple of projects over the years where they've done this with everybody and, trying to recoup your wages and everything else. You got to wait for your money for a long time. But guess what? It's really bad. If you're cheating them, this is what's going on. A couple of things. One, you're disobeying the law because you're not paying your Davis-Bacon rates. Number two, you're not paying your taxes because all that stuff has to be taxed. right? You're diverting it to other things. It's we'll just say a real bad idea to do that. With that, so good for them. Department of Labor announces findings. This is from MSHA. Department of Labor announces findings of October 2023 impact inspections at 13 mines, many with histories of repeated safety and health issues. The U.S. Department of Labor announced today that its Mine Safety and Health Administration, that's MSHA, completed impact inspections at 13 mines in 10 states, issuing 215 violations. What is an impact thing here? This is a quote from the Assistant Secretary for MSHA, Chris Williamson. The Mine Safety and Health Administration remains troubled by the fact that our impact inspections continue to discover the same hazards we've identified as root causes. There is that root cause again for fatal accidents, so that we know can cause serious occupational illnesses. Each month, MSHA conducts special impact inspections at mines that merit increased attention and enforcement due to their poor compliance history or particular compliance concerns. Results of each month impact inspections are available on the MSHA.gov website. So MSHA began impact inspections after an April 22 explosion in West Virginia at the Upper Big Ranch mine, which killed 29 miners. To date, impact inspections in 2023 have identified over 2,300 violations, including 654 significant and substantial, or SNS, and 46 unwarrantable failure findings. So what are we looking at here? The inspection led agency to issue an imminent danger order when their inspectors found accumulations of float coal dust on 2 separate conveyor belt lines, resulting in 2 unwarrantable failure orders. Inadequate examinations on the conveyor belt line result in 2 more unwarrantable failure orders. So going on, and fall protection. Right? People wearing harnesses, but they're not attached to anything. You gotta love it. No, you don't have to love it. You have to feel shocked about it. Wisconsin roofing contractor faces $180,000 in fines for repeatedly failing to protect workers, subcontractors from deadly fall hazards. And I'm not going to mention the name of the company. OSHA finds the company exposed workers twice in less than 2 weeks. After a blank manager attended an on-site training session on fall hazards on May 25th, 2023, federal workplace safety inspectors observed the company's employees working about 30 feet above ground on a Mencha apartment complex roof without adequate fall protection. 13 days later, an inspector observed a project manager employed by the same company hand out caffeinated energy drinks to subcontractors on a 10-foot-high roof in Appleton. A kindness determined by the fact that the workers lacked fall protection and the manager did not correct the hazard to protect them from the construction industry's leading cause of death. Well, that's, I don't know what to say at this point with this, any of this stuff. You can't say that you didn't know it with that. So let's see what we have here. They open inspections. Let's see what they found here. I'm gonna guess, and again, I look at this stuff. This is fresh in my mind. This is my visceral gut reaction to all of this stuff. That's what you're getting here. You're not going to be getting on Safety Wars a nice polished presentation every night, right? We are not NPR. We're not Jayallen, man. We're Sheldon. We're Todd. We're Safety Wars. Okay. Going on down. 29 CFR, type of violation, citation 1, item 1, serious. 29 CFR 1926 503. The employer shall provide a training program for each employee who might be exposed to fall hazards. And So, on or about June 7th, an establishment located at a certain location in Appleton, Wisconsin, a project manager of the company was exposed to fall hazards of over 10 feet and has not received fall protection training. $12,031 fine. Citation 2, item 1. Again, this is for a repeat offense. This is competent person. So on a construction site, again, you have to have a competent person designated. Because this is what it is. 29 CFR 1926.20b2. Accident prevention responsibilities. Such programs shall provide for frequent and regular inspections of the job sites, materials, and equipment to be made by competent persons designated by employers. And what is a competent person? Someone who's able to assess hazards and able to correct hazards. They did not do this here. So, same thing, Appleton, Wisconsin. An employee was present at an active job site and observed subcontractors being exposed to fall hazards of over 10 feet and failed to take prompt corrective measures and eliminate the hazards. All right. And that company was previously cited for a violation of this occupational safety and health standards, which are contained in OSHA, blah, 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 citation 1, item 1, blah, 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 group A, and was affirmed by as a final order with respect to workplace located at another Wisconsin job site. So this is 24,063. All because they didn't designate a competent person, and a competent person was not, right, which they're assuming was no, they're assuming that this company, right, was the competent person. So basically, the company cited was a general contractor, and they had subcontractors. Again, at that point, you have multi-employer enforcement policies, and these policies, no, you could, if you're the GC, you could get cited just like the company that you're overseeing. That was a repeat violation, 24,000. Citation 2, item 2. This is a little bit more nuanced and very, very extensive. This is $60,156 fine. And it's essentially, there's a lot of confusion here with roofing work on low slope roofs. So, except as otherwise provided in paragraph B of the section, each employee engaged in roofing activities on low slope roofs, and they have a definition of that, with unprotected sides and edges of 6 feet or more above lower levels shall be protected from falling by guardrail systems, safety net systems, versatile fall arrest systems, or a combination of a warning line and guardrail system, warning line system and safety net system, or warning line system. You got to have something, right? On roofs 50 feet or less width, the use of safety monitoring system alone is permitted. Now, what screws people up is that they read the whole first sentence, which is a huge run-on sentence here. I get it. And then they ignore the second sentence. And they say, well, we're going to have safety monitors. But that's only on roofs 50 feet or less in width. Right? Again, but let's face it. If your employee falls and gets killed, you're on the hook, regardless of what the regulation is, because OSHA feels, and I think I think most people could agree, I might be wrong here, but most people could agree that falling off a roof is a bad thing. I don't know. What do you think on that? Am I wrong? I don't know. Okay. And we're going to go to, let's finish this out. So now this is going to, and again, they have 15 days to contest this. Now, this is the second group of citations for the same company. Scrolling on down. Same company, different job site. Right. Again, a repeat series violation. Citation 1, item 1. No competent person. All right. And this was subcontractors being exposed to fall hazards over 30 feet and failed to take corrective measures. Citation 1, item 2, a repeat. Again, fall protection, 6 feet or higher. What was this? $60,156 for a grand total of $84,219 on that one. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. We're going to go to commercial break right now. And for our hop message for Monday. Okay, here we go. We're going to continue on with the press releases from the Department of Labor. Department of Labor finds child labor violations by operators of 5 McDonald's locations in Western Pennsylvania, assesses $26,000 in penalties. So essentially, an investigation by the DOL has found the operator of 5 McDonald's franchise locations in the greater Pittsburgh area employed 34 children to work later and longer than permitted by child labor laws. So $26,000 in penalties there. U.S. Department of Labor final rule requires state merit staff to provide employment service to programs, service delivery for job seekers and employers. U.S. DOL today announced, this is from a couple of days ago, the publication of a final rule that revises federal regulations that govern the employment service nationwide system of public employment offices. Enacted in 1933, established a nationwide system to support the nation's labor market by bringing together people seeking employment with employers and in need of with employers in need of workers. The act requires states to create and maintain an employment service program. So, going on, the final rule improves services for migrant and seasonal farm workers, and uh, I guess it's a good thing. U.S. Department of Labor awards grant to support safe quality jobs in Indonesia and Philippines. U.S. Department of Labor today announced the award of $6 million in grant funding for the Solidarity Center to advance quality jobs and labor rights in Indonesia and Philippines. Administered by the Bureau of International Labor Affairs, promoting quality jobs and infrastructure development will support safe quality jobs in on infrastructure projects in Indonesia and Philippines that are financed by multilateral development banks. The project is part of the multilateral partnership for organizing worker empowerment and rights. And another 6 million bucks out the door. U.S. Department of Labor Office of the U.S. Trade Representative seek review of alleged denial of labor rights at an auto parts plant in Ontario. Uh, this is the 17th request under the USMCA Rapid Response Labor Mechanism. The U.S. Mexico Canada Agreement's Interagency Labor Committee for Monitoring and Enforcement today requested the government of Mexico review an allegation that workers' rights are being denied at the auto parts plant in Querétaro, Mexico. And again, it was a follow up where a company violated workers' freedom of association and collective rights. U.S. Department of Labor and U.S. Trade Representative co-chair the Interagency Labor Committee. After the committee found sufficient and credible evidence supporting the denial of workers' rights by the company, the U.S. government invoked a rapid response labor mechanism by submitting a request for review to Mexico. The rights of workers to freely choose a union and collectively bargain are core concerns of union democracy. We continue to monitor and ensure that employers do not interfere with those rights or retaliate against workers for exercise. And going on, again, all right, international agreements. A 20-year-old Amazon employee died at work. Indiana issued a $7,000 fine. Amazon's safety record is under unprecedented scrutiny, but state, which is true. I tell you what, we covered that extensively on this program. But state and federal regulators often have limited ability to enforce safety policies. This is from the Washington Post article by Caroline O'Donovan. This is one of those I've read through and through. But basically, what this comes down to was um, on allegedly, right? According to this article, in the afternoon, an employee was trying to clear an obstruction from an overhead package conveyor at an Amazon distribution center in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was en route to the jam in an elevated lift where his head collided with the conveyor and became trapped by machinery. He died of blunt force injuries. Now, if you want training from us, 845-269-5772. We give, this is one of our most popular trainings, is with scissor lifts, or what we call today MWUP, mobile elevated work platforms. And what you got to tell people is you got to look up, down, around, all around. So what all often happens, I don't know about this case, but what often happens is you have people up in a lift and they're looking that they don't hit things and they're looking down on the ground. And what do you think happens? They're not looking up above, they're not looking overhead. Often they're not wearing a hard hat. I don't know if that would have, or some type of a helmet. I don't know if that would help in this situation. And what happens is they hit their head on something overhead. Could easily happen where they get their head wedged and they snap their neck like a toothpick with one of these machines. Uh, and now that happens. That happens. They were issued a fine under a what is it? I don't know what they call them in Indiana, but it's essentially the general duty clause. Now, what people are pissed off about, especially people in New York and some of the other areas, they get pissed off because there's like a $7,000 fine. That's really the maximum, according to this article, that we're allowed to set. 7,000. OSHA upped it up to 15,000 and about 15,296. I think. So quote me on that. But essentially, a couple back in 2015, OSHA started to raise these with the other agencies, and there were a couple of court cases on that said, "Hey, you need legislation," and then the Obama administration said, "No, no." But basically, every year, second week of December, these things go up. Now, the $7,000 fine is probably the maximum in Indiana. Now, I've been on cases where there were fatalities and they only got like a $1,900 fine. And it all depends on the size of the company, what happened, uh, even sometimes employee culpability, depending on the situation. even though it's a exceedingly rare thing, and how you can test it and everything else. Now, often what these agencies do, they lowball the fines so they get an admission of guilt. So if this is going to be litigated, now they have another thing in there, and with the workers' comp system with that. And no, in New York, where I do a lot of business, they do have a different way of handling things, which is what we just covered with the Wisconsin case, especially with construction sites. It's the confident person, where you're the confident person, you're supposed to be doing your job. Guess what? We know that OSHA has low fines, but guess what? We're going to get you as a confident person and as a company under the scaffold law, what's called the scaffold law, and a couple of other laws with this. I mean, it's, you know, uh, along with that, right? Next story, pollution. Pollution fueling a sex imbalance among endangered green sea turtles. So, you know, and the person at the other wars got a little bit flack over this years ago with frogs. Endocrine disruptors in the environment with frogs and things of that nature. And but this article is from Frontiers Writing. The article is on from the Washington Post. Aaron Lakemore and green sea turtles are producing more females in response to a warming climate. And human-caused pollution is helping fuel the surge. Writing in Frontiers in Marine Science, researchers say ocean contaminants are contributing to the surge in female green sea turtles. So, with a lot of reptiles, and this is one of the reasons why they think the dinosaurs, one of the contributing reasons why the dinosaurs were out. Yes, there was an asteroid, but it was rapid climate change because of an asteroid impact. Is one theory. There are other theories, but that seems to be the most popular theory right now. So, the temperature of the eggs are going to dictate whether or not you're going to have a male or a female. So what happens is with when the eggs are over a certain threshold, right? They're going to be more likely to produce females. Cooler sands producing only males. Now you're going to say, well, more females, more eggs, very happy male population. I believe me. But what happens is when you have less genetic diversity, which will in the long term impact the genetic, then you'll have genetic illnesses and turtles and things of that nature. Not very good. The other thing is if this continues to accelerate. Article doesn't say this. Well, this is what I've read, right? With other things, right, where you have uh, uh, too many females, not enough males. They have genetic problems. But then after a while, all you get are females, no males, right? I mean, let's face it. A man could only have so many females here with this. Not to, again, this is gonna, you know, imagine that. I mean, I'm sure it's, good in the beginning, but who knows? Turtles born with higher concentrations of heavy metals, uh, including metals such as chromium, lead, cadmium, and industrial byproducts like polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, are likely to be female because these are endocrine disruptors. Again, this is all off here. I've read about this many times over the year with reptile, with that, and specifically the dinosaurs. Uh, do. So, and I signed into all these things, and now it's saying blah blah blah. Let's re-sign and hold on. Now, this is out of the Wall Street Journal. Instagram's Reels video service is an article by Jeff Horowitz and Catherine Blunt. It's designed to show users streams of short videos on topics the system decides will interest them. So what they're finding out is that let's say that you are a let's just call it what it is, a depraved individual who's interested in children. It's still happening. Again, you need to monitor what your kids are doing. Is basically it when it comes to this stuff. Well, what are you doing? What kind of parental controls? What exactly are you looking on there? Or are you just and a lot of times it's not what you're doing or not doing. It's what your children are seeing out there in the world. Because maybe parents that are not watching their children do this. They may not have parents. There are all different types of situations. Uh, People may have and I've seen it already, where they have parents put old iPads, whatever, those security features. They have them. Kids are able to access things. Parents don't even know that they have them. Right? Again, you got to watch. You got to keep stuff secure. If you have older computer equipment that you're not using, make sure that you have that stuff stowed away. Make sure have a conversation with your children. How's that? Whoever you're responsible for on appropriate computer use. Something know who they're dealing with online. And again, if your child does have an issue, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad parent with that. It's just you can only do so much with that. And I'm not excusing anything. Now, some things. One thing that everyone knows here. Okay, if you don't know this, I'm going to tell you. I'm big. I'm a big Olympic. I love watching the Olympics. We're probably going to switch this out, right? During the Olympics, with the Olympic flag. So that's probably what we're going to do. And I'm looking forward to when the Summer Olympics, whenever that's going to be. We're going to have a little update on the track and field, right? With that, I'm looking forward to doing something like that. Switzerland wants to host the first Winter Olympics spread across an entire country. Small country. You look back at some of the photos of my mom. We went to Switzerland. Great thing. Right? Went with my parents. Right? It also wants to overcome a historic opposition by proposing that games be the cheapest on record. Now, we all know we've heard nightmares of the cost of the Olympic Games, countries going bankrupt, companies going bankrupt, losing money here and there, all different types of mayhem. So what they say, well, look, for the Winter Olympics, again, Switzerland has a lot of different facilities for winter type stuff, winter sports. I don't think that they're just going to renovate what they already have for all this stuff, right? With that, and what they want to do is spend $1.6 billion on the 2030 games, the outdoor, I'm sorry, the Winter Olympics. And again, the bid marks a shift from the government spending billions on hosting games as a show of power and urban renewal towards a more sustainable Olympics that focus on sport. I'll add this: not on the sport, focus on the athletes. How French Finance Minister Bruno de La Maire said he wants the Paris 2024 Games to be the cheapest in decades, with the state on the hook for just a quarter of the cost of the 2.5 week event. Again, they're not looking to break the bank, and I think this is a symptom again. From this is fallout from uh, pandemic and the other economic things. And hold on. All right. There was a Carl Sagan quote that came out today. I wanted to give a little bit of a commentary on. I can't seem to find it here. Americans under 30 don't trust religion or anything else. This is from dnyuz.com. Again, this is part of a series on Americans moving away from organized religion. So let me give some viewpoints on here. According to this article, uh, parents are not religious, so therefore children are not being religious. That's the whole gist of the article. Again, I if the parents aren't religious, then that's to be expected on that. Now, there may be some good and some bad because I know parents in my are my age, very horrible. And I commented on this Friday. I'll do a public here. Is that people horrible catechetics in the Lutheran Church and in the Catholic Church, for that matter. Horrible. Couldn't get out the catechism. I can't speak on the Reformed Church because, or any of the other denominations, but I can't speak on that one. Growing up, they were still working on a 1940s and 50s model of instructing people when the entire world moved on, moved on, right? And this is part of what the issue is. I think if you, and take it from an old confirmation class teacher, if you present things logically, rationally, I mean, the kids are pretty smart, especially now with the TikTok and everything else going on out there. That's you're going to be more likely to retain people by thinking on this stuff. And you say, well, this is a safety show, not a religion show. Well, it's so boring talking about safety all the time. Let's talk a little bit about religion every once in a while. I mean, we do have religious holidays coming up in two major religions in this one. I don't know, or in the, in the next 1 month or so. I don't know. I can't remember what those are, but anyway, uh, again, it's now the churches have got to do better. There are ways of doing this. I'm going to go into with this. You just have to, again, sort of like HOP, right? Human organizational performance. You have people out there with HOP, and it's like, uh, they want to be stuck in a traditional way of doing safety. We've discussed that kind of memorial. When we go into human organizational performance, there's a lot of resistance. But it's where people normally reside unknowingly, and they may not call it human organizational performance, but they reside in that. And that's, you know, once I found out that there was a name for it, like this is what we do normally. Learning teams, that's what I've always done, is learning teams. So now I have a name for it. And we're going to go to another commercial break. Right, and so when we, how can I say this nicely and politely? I used to be a confirmation class teacher, right, in a Lutheran church, and it was in a community And you get these folks, and what influences you. We talked about that leadership, what influences you, positive things, and everything else. So I had a question in this community, and I said, "Well, who are the people who have graduated your high school who are famous?" And I got a whole bunch of stuff here with that. Hey, this person and this person and this person, blah, blah, blah. And they go on and on and on and on. And, they said, well, no, I'm reading off of Wikipedia here, right? One of them is we're looking for a somebody playing for the Colorado Buffaloes, a retired professional footballer, Kimberly Brandeo. And we have a wrestling championship, a basketball player, another basketball player, a football player. All right, basketball player. Going on and on. And I said, well, there are some other people here that graduated your high school. Did you know this? And I mentioned, right, Alfred M. Gray Jr., 29th Commandant for the Marine Corps, graduated your high school. Wayne Grillcrest, a U.S. Congressman, graduated there. Here we have another one, a famous psychologist, Jerome Kagan. And we went on and on and on. All these other things. No, we only know about the sports people in there. Okay, well, I know how kids are. I do understand that people, right? You're at that age. You're gonna know about sports. I get it. I said, did you ever hear of a man, a Nobel laureate, Milton Friedman? No, who's that? I said, Nobel laureate. 1976 Nobel Peace Prize for Economic Sciences for different things on there. I said, how about the guy who grew up on this street, reportedly? The street where the church was at. You might have heard of him. Carl Sagan. Right? Famous, famous astronomer. Astrochemist. Chemist. I believe he's a Nobel laureate here also. Let me see. Not a Nobel. Again, excellent. Not a Nobel laureate, but way up there, right? TV personality too, through the 80s and 90s, if my memory serves you right. Again, where are we putting our focus on? And if you're a school and you have Nobel laureates that graduated from your school, why wouldn't you be promoting that? Right? And again, this may be the crotchety old man in me speaking here, but it would seem to me if you have such positive people who have had such a positive impact on the world, those are only a couple of the people. I'm sure there is a lot more that probably should be promoted. I'm always remember the 1980 inauguration, 1981. This was inauguration of the president, President Ronald Reagan. I remember it was like the best day ever because we had a TV in the classroom and we got to watch President Reagan at the inauguration. And he said, no, there's this is a paraphrase, but it's always stuck with me, that people say that there are no heroes. Well, maybe you're looking in the wrong place for the heroes. Maybe it's not someone on TV. Maybe it's not somebody, one of these sports figures, great intellectuals. Right? That's a good place to start. Maybe it's the person, a single mom across that counter, who's working in a diner. Maybe it's other people out there with all different types of struggles that are overcoming them. Maybe those are the kinds of heroes we need to look at. Just something to think about here. And I think this is part of this, and this is another story with disenfranchised people here looking to the government for inspiration and wondering why everybody is hating the government. I have an article here from Business Insider. Alcina Lloyd wrote this article. People are leaving Texas over rising costs, politics, and a sense of disenchantment. If you're looking for these people for inspiration, maybe you're looking in the wrong place to the government and the government officials. Could be a good place to start. Well, look in your own community, the own people that you know, for that. Become the leader in your own community. Have we heard about the situation over in China? All right, we're at 46 minutes after the hour here. Here we have China's COVID trauma returns as hazmat workers disinfect streets. Public health workers wearing full protective gear have appeared on the streets of northern China, according to footage on social media. Right? The hazmat-clad personnel were seen spraying disinfectant in public spaces in China's northern Hebei province, roughly 50 miles east of the capital, Beijing. The re-emergence of year has raised speculation about the potential return of pandemic restrictions amid a surge of respiratory illnesses, notably among children, which has strained hospitals in the region. The outbreak is being closely watched by the World Health Organization. In the past days, China's state-controlled media have reported hospitals in Beijing, Tianjin, and other northern areas operating at maximum capacity. Tell you what, they had pictures on the news here. That are things are long lines and everything else with this. I hope this is not going to turn into another lockdown situation just in time for the election, right? And this is also, we're getting a lot from the Washington Post today. One rabid kitten triggered intensive efforts to contain deadly virus. So this was a family in Omaha, Nebraska, that adopted a kitten, and essentially the kitten has had rabies. They ended up having to go into the community. Not only did every human get their rabies shots to prevent rabies, but again, they're wondering how they got this. This is a strain of raccoon rabies that has never been detected west of the Appalachian Mountains. They're going through woods, vaccinating animals and wildlife, and a complete and total nightmare with that. And they found 10 people that the kitten was exposed to. And I didn't realize the treatment was $8,000 per person. And they are going out and inoculating inoculating animals and everything else. Here's some other factoids here. People in the United States rarely contract rabies, with only 1 to 3 cases reported annually. But about 60,000 Americans receive post-exposure treatments each year after being bitten or scratched by infected animals. Up here in the Northeast, we're seeing a lot of bats actually infect people. So that's something else going on here. Hold on. Jessica, can you please turn on the lights? Thank you. Okay, here we have child pneumonia cases surge in Europe as fears rise over outbreak in China. We just mentioned this. But we're getting a lot of stuff going on in Europe also with this. 80 of every 100,000 children between the ages of 5 and 14 came down with pneumonia in the Netherlands last week. Again, a lot going on here. Did this always happen, or are we paying more attention to this? And here we go. Not to be outdone, UK detects its first human case of swine flu strain. Health officials are scrambling to trace contacts from a person infected with a new form of swine flu after the first UK detected its first human case of H1N2. 50 human cases of the strain have been reported globally since 2005. The new case is first to be detected in the UK and is unrelated genetically to the previous cases. Based on information, it is a distinct form. Now, primarily, these flus are spread by birds, right? Again, they may call it swine flu. However, probably most likely spread by birds that travel around. And what happens is the virus infects the bird. Bird creates little bird viruses, right? And then they get into the ecosystem, and you end up having uh, 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 having a new strain of flu. And that's a very simplified form. I know we're all virologists after COVID. Okay, where are we going to go to now? All right, this is from dailymail.co.uk. Exclusive from the Daily Mail. Chinese scientists find a new bat coronavirus linked to pangolins that has same freak mutation as COVID, and some experts say it shoots down the lab leak theory. Okay, great. We need more information. Bat coronavirus, 1,000 miles from Wuhan, closely related to virus in pangolins. Pangolins were thought to be intermediary. I don't even know what a pangolin is. And this goes into way too technical of a thing for this program. What is a pangolin? Let me look that up. Pangolin is an anteater. It's a scaly anteater. Okay, great. Why don't they just say a scaly anteater in the article? I don't know. Here it is. They have a picture of it, but they don't say what it is. Okay, you could go look up a pangolin. They don't look very friendly, I'll say that much. Jessica, would you like to have a pet pangolin?
What's that?
Yeah, what's that? It's an anteater with scales.
No.
She says no. All right. Now, dangers of AI here. This is from Fox News. I got a little bit of a giggle out of this. Seinfeld star Julia Louis-Dreyfus used AI to write an acceptance speech. Was mistaken for Julia Roberts. The Veep star was an honoree at the Wall Street Journal Magazine 2023 Innovator Awards earlier this month. The former Veep star was the entertainment and revealed she used AI chatbot ChatGPT to help write her speech for the event. As an entertainment innovator, I am very busy innovating, Louis-Dreyfus said in the clip shared to the outlet. So I did what any other innovator worth her salt would do. I turned to ChatGPT-4. According to the 56-year-old star, she does not look 56 years old. I'm sorry. The program gave her exactly the following speech. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow investors, today is a moment of profound gratitude and reflection for me as I accept the great honor of being recognized as the Investor of the Year by Wall Street Journal. She said to laughter. Reflecting on this milestone, I am reminded of the unwavering support of my family and the unyielding dedication of my team that has been the driving force behind my investment strategies, my performances in Erin Brockovich, Pretty Women, and Mystic Pizza. All right, well, it does say safety related because Erin Brockovich, environmentalist. Okay, great. The audience laughed at the program's apparent confusion of Louis-Dreyfus with Julia Roberts, as well as the frequent mix-ups between innovator and investor. Okay, so you got to be really freaking careful with the ChatGPT AI. Really careful. We're going to, what else do we have here? Well, we could save some of this for tomorrow or for the next program. Let's end this on a humorous note. what we actually know about aliens according to science. All right? It came from space. This is from Joel Achenbach. It came from space, hurtling at tremendous speed. A mystery object, reddish rocky, shaped like a cigar. Its velocity was so extreme, it had to have come from somewhere far away in the interstellar realm. The astronomers in Hawaii who spotted it in 2017 named it Oumuamua, Hawaiian for messenger from afar arriving first. But what was it exactly? A comet, an asteroid, or maybe an alien spacecraft? People, I tell you what, I followed this all through here, but again, no, this is coming a hot topic again because they pulled the switch on us. We were calling it UFOs for years. Now it's not no longer UFO, it's now a UAP. And they said, and the Air Force said, we're not investigating this. Yeah, and they pulled another fast one. Yeah, because the Navy's investigating it. Because there is an undersea component to this. And slowly but surely, we're seeing what I call disclosure, and I'm not the only one that calls it that, where they're feeding us all this information. They're going to say, of course, they're real. I don't know. I don't know what to say on all of this. Well, yeah, I do know what to say. That, all I'm doing is questioning people who have been known to not tell the truth. So, again, the article goes on and on and on, and there have been hoaxes over the years. I don't know. What's everybody's opinion on this? Tell you what mine is. I don't trust anybody. We're going to go and wrap it up here. We're coming to the end. I want to welcome everybody to our after Thanksgiving festivities here. I guess, if you want to call it that, most people were in recovery from the weekend because of everything in the holiday. And I just wanted to say thank you for listening. I rely on you. And as usual, we are always looking to expand. And we're going to go on out with our usual outro here.